In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Raptor Pro 3D scanner from Creality. This is a brand new scanner that has just been released from Creality, and it sports some pretty impressive capabilities. If you aren't familiar with the Creality brand, they are a global leader in producing consumer-level 3D scanners and 3D printers. They have many choices of entry-level all the way up to professional machines, and the one that I'm going to be reviewing today leans more towards the professional line. There will be links to this scanner down in the description of the video, so please check out those links if you are interested in purchasing this scanner or if you want more info or pricing information. I myself have purchased several Creality 3D printers over the years, so I was delighted when they asked me if I wanted to be one of the first to get my hands on the Raptor Pro 3D scanner and try it out for myself. Yes, this is a sponsored video because Creality did provide this scanner for the purpose of making this review video, but this video is 100% my honest opinion. I'm going to show you everything that I like and dislike about this scanner. This scanner has some pretty impressive specs for a consumer-grade product. For instance, Creality claims that this scanner can scan objects as small as 5 millimeters all the way up to 4,000 millimeters. And for everybody still using the imperial measurement system, 4,000 millimeters is roughly 13.1 feet. It also has two scan modes. One is a blue laser mode and the other is an infrared mode. In the infrared mode, it will scan up to 30 frames per second and has an accuracy of up to 0.08 millimeters. In the blue laser mode, it will scan up to 60 frames per second with an accuracy up to 0.02 millimeters. And this scanner uses the Creality Scan software, which can be downloaded for free from the Creality website. So with that said, let's dig in and take a closer look at the Raptor Pro. The first thing I noticed when I took it out of the box was this plastic case. This case is made from a high quality plastic. It kind of has the same look and feel that a Yeti cooler would have. And if we take a look inside the box, you can see there is this high quality foam rubber that keeps everything nice, safe, and secure. And here we have the Raptor Pro 3D scanner itself. There is also a cable that connects the scanner to the USB port on your computer and a power supply. It also comes with the instruction manual, a USB-C adapter, a lens cleaning cloth to keep everything clean, and a nice big stack of marker dots. And if we take a closer look at the scanner itself, we can see here on the back there are 5 buttons. Now these work in conjunction with the Creality Scan software. These 2 buttons will zoom in and out. These 2 buttons will adjust the exposure, and the large one in the middle will start and stop the scan process. And these can be easily reached while you are scanning an item in, and this will come in real handy for those instances where you may need to pause the scan process and reorient the object that you are scanning. And before we get started, let's take a quick look at the Creality Scan software. When it first loads, this is the screen that you will see. And if we look over here on the right, you can see there are a few buttons to calibrate the scanner. There's a user guide and a video tutorial and some buttons to some other miscellaneous websites over on the Creality webpage. But what we are interested in is right here in the center. When the software starts and it sees your scanner, the new project button will turn blue. So let's click that new project button and let's start a new project and call it First Scan. That will take us to the next page where we can tell Creality Scan what type of scan we want to do. And our choices are blue laser mode or infrared mode. And you can see here on blue laser mode, you can set the resolution. You can turn color mapping on and off. And this is a pretty neat feature that I like. It's available in both blue laser and infrared mode. It's the disable flat base. If you turn this on, let's say you have your object sitting on a tabletop and you want to scan the object, but you don't want the tabletop in the scan, by turning this on, the software will automatically ignore the tabletop. And if we go over here to infrared mode, you can see there are some different settings. We can tell it what type of object we want to scan, such as a normal object, If we want to scan somebody's face or their body, we can select those check boxes. But we can also, on a normal object, we can select the size of the object, the way we want to scan it, if we want to scan by geometry or texture. And yes, even in infrared mode, we can use marker dots. And again, it has this disable flat base. So let's just start out with an infrared mode scan. I'm going to hit the scan button. And that takes us to the next page. Okay, so I've got an item set up so I can show you how the scan page works. If you look here on the left side of the screen, there are two images. The top one is the infrared image and the bottom one is the color camera. And whatever we're scanning, we want to keep it inside of the frames of those two cameras. And then next to those images, you can see there's a graph. And right now, well, it was green. This lets you know if you're in the optimal range or not. You want to keep the scanner, you don't want it too close and you don't want it too far away from the object. And you can see right now, I've got it right in that optimal range and everything turned green. Now I'm gonna pull it too far away. You can see everything move to the top of the graph. That lets me know I need to get closer. And now I'm gonna move it too close. And you can see everything is now at the bottom of the graph. That lets me know I need to pull the scanner a little bit farther away. But the idea is to keep everything nice and green while you are scanning. All right, so enough talking about the Raptor Pro. Let's actually put it to use. Last week I released a video on the jet boat with its brand new vinyl wrap. And while we were out on the water, what did I do? I bumped it into something and it has already damaged the vinyl on the nose of the boat. So I got the idea, hey, let's 3D print something on the front. And if I do bump into something, it will damage that 3D print rather than the boat or the vinyl wrap. Okay, so I want to start out by trying that blue laser mode. And to do that, it requires marker dots. So you can see I have put some marker dots randomly all over the nose of the boat. And I also want to point out, as you can see, the whole front of the boat is black. And one of the things Creality claims is that this can scan black objects. The blue laser scan of the boat is complete, but it did throw me for a loop there in the beginning. That black color was a little bit hard to scan, but I was able to do three things and then it just scanned in perfect. And the first thing I had to do was take Creality Scan out of the automatic mode for the exposure settings. And I just cranked that exposure rate all the way up as high as it would go. That seemed to get most of the boat to scan in. However, on the lower left-hand side of the boat, it just didn't want to scan. So I moved the marker dots. I spread them out a little bit further apart. And then I had an aha moment. The spare tire is on the lower left side of the boat, so I think maybe that was blocking some of the light, or the light was reflecting off of the tire and it was just throwing it off. I don't know, but I took the tire off of the boat, and those three things, I was able to get a really good scan of the nose of the boat. And if we look at the screen, you can see the scan that I got from the Raptor Pro in blue laser mode, and it got all of the information that I need to make my little protector piece. So the next thing I need to do is process this scan so that I can create a mesh and then export that mesh as an STL and 3D print it. And I'm going to do that by using the one-click process button up here in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Now, I could go in here and do all of this manually, but there's no need because Creality Scan does an excellent job with that one-click process of creating all of the files that I need. And just like that, the one-click process has finished. For you guys, it was only a couple of seconds, but it actually took about a minute and a half for it to process this file. And if we look here on the screen, I am very impressed with the results because right here, if you look, this little wavy section right here is where I got a little aggressive with the angle grinder when I was welding this hull together. And also, if you look on the nose of the boat, right here, you can see the little ding that I put into the front of the boat. This is the part that I want to protect with the 3D printed part. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the marker dots are gone. In the software, you can tell it to automatically remove the marker dots. So those are gone. I don't have to go in there and manually remove each one. But yeah, I am very impressed with the quality scan that I got with the Raptor Pro in blue laser mode. Okay, so last night I was able to take that mesh file from Creality Scan and I loaded it into some 3D editing software, and I was able to make a little boat nose protector for the boat. Now I made a white one for you guys because it shows up better on camera, but I also made a black one that will go permanently on the front of the boat. And you can see that the little protector fits right on the front of the nose perfectly. I can actually move the whole boat. This does not rock back and forth. It is not a loose fit. It is a nice, perfect, tight fit inside of here. And if we look here on the backside, you can see that it fits perfectly. There's no gap or anything in between these lines between the boat and the protector. This edge right here, I did not round it over because I wanted to show you guys just how perfect of a fit that this little protector has on here. And I do want to point out that I'm not going into any details on the software or the process that I'm using to create these 3D models because that's out of the scope of this video. This is a review video on the Raptor Pro, not a how to make 3D models video. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, smash that like button and then let me know down in the comments that you would be interested in seeing a future video. And if there's enough interest, I have no problem creating a future video on how to make 3D models from these scans. Okay, so let's move on to something else. I was able to take the Raptor Pro 3D scanner and create a little bumper protector for the nose of my boat. Now I've got another idea for a project using the Raptor Pro to scan the interior dashboard of my truck. And I want to scan the dashboard on my truck because I need a holder that will hold my phone in the horizontal position. There are holders in there that will hold it in the vertical position, but I need something for the horizontal. And if we look here on the dash, there is a spot right here that would be perfect, but the phone wants to lay down flat. So I think what I'm going to do is just 3D scan this area right here and make a custom holder that fits down in this opening that will hold the phone up and at an angle so that it's easy to see from the driver's seat. And I don't feel like plastering my dash with a whole bunch of marker dots. So for this part of the video, I'm going to be using the Raptor Pro in the infrared mode. So I'm ready to start scanning the dash of the truck, but I'm going to show you a little trick that I use. I'm going to take some pennies. I'm going to place them randomly on the dash of the truck. And what this does is it breaks up the symmetry of the dash because without them, it's going to be hard for the scanner to tell the left side from the right side because it's pretty much just a mirror image. And this will help the software in the scanner track this image as I scan it. All right, so I've got the scanner at the optimum range here. So let's just start scanning the dash. And it seems to be going along pretty well. And I'm just going to go back and forth and get all the different angles of this. And I will check in with you guys as soon as I finish this scan. All right, so I've been doing some scanning here and I've been keeping it at the optimum level. And you can see here, I have got most of the dash that I need for my scan. So I'm just going to keep working it here and hopefully I will get a good enough scan to make my little mounting bracket. All right, so let's take a look at the raw scan file. And if we look here, you can see it did a pretty decent job of getting this upper area scanned. This is all I was really worried about because that's all I need to make my custom phone holder. And I will show you that I have already gone in here and cleaned this up. And this is one of the bugs that Creality fixed since the last time I used Creality Scan last summer. I can actually go in here now and I can take my lasso tool and I can lasso an area and you can see it turns red and I can hit the delete button and it actually deletes that area. So I was able to clean up all of the background noise and all of the stuff that I didn't need for this scan. And I was also able to clean off the top and the sides and make them more square. So I'm just going to click the one process button again and let Creality Scan do all the work. And when it's finished, I will show you the result. Okay, so Creality Scan has finished. Let's take a look at it here on the screen, and you can see it did an excellent job of scanning this whole upper area of the dash of my truck. Now you can see it left little areas out over here, but I just didn't run the scanner over there because that's not what I need to create my custom phone holder. So now I'm going to take these files inside and I'm going to do some work with some 3D modeling software. And when I come back, I should have a 3D printed custom phone holder that will fit perfectly in the dash of my truck. Okay, so I worked on those files all last night and it took me a while, but I finally came up with a design that works. It also took about 5 hours for it to 3D print, so I just let that run all night. And this morning when I woke up, I have my 3D printed phone holder. And let's take a look at that phone holder. This is the part where the phone will sit. And here on the bottom is the part that got 3D scanned. You can see that it has the same contour as the dash. This is the opening that got scanned. And you can even see that RAM logo right here on this face. So let's take this out to the truck and see how well that it fits. All right, and that phone holder goes right here inside this opening on my dash, and you can see it is a perfect fit. It doesn't move, it doesn't slide around. I can even put my phone right here and it will sit in the horizontal position. So I would call this another successful scan with the Raptor Pro. Okay, so I made this piece for you guys. It is just a slice of that 3D model because the camera doesn't do it justice. You cannot tell just how well that piece fits in this opening. So I made this to go right here, and you can see now with this cutout just how well the lines and contour and everything lines up and just how good that piece fits inside of this opening. Okay, up until now, I've been pretty much using the Raptor Pro in infrared mode. Let's set it up in blue laser and see how well it works. And for these blue laser mode scans, I'm going to be using this little turntable that I purchased on Amazon. It has a little motor in it and it just rotates the items around so it's easier for them to scan. And one of the things I like about this particular one is it has this little platform that has marker dots already attached. And these turntables are not required to scan parts in with the Raptor Pro, but it does make life easier because as you can see, it just spins the part around and it makes it much easier to get a 360-degree scan of your object. Plus, they don't cost very much, so it's a nice to have, but it's not a requirement. And if we look here on the screen, you can see it did a pretty good job of scanning in this turbo elbow. I do want to point out right here underneath, you can see there is a little bit of a gap where we didn't get any scanning in. And that's because as I lowered the scanner to get a lower view of this elbow, it lost the view of the marker dots. And that's something to keep in mind, that if you're using a turntable with the marker dots on it, as soon as the scanner can't see the marker dots, it stops scanning. So it wasn't possible for me to get up under there and get this part of the elbow scanned. But other than that, it did a pretty good job. And speaking of the marker dots, if you look on here, you can see that it did not scan the marker dots because there is a setting in the software to automatically remove the marker dots. But you can see there is some noise around here, and that can easily be cleaned up with the Creality Scan. I can just select the lasso tool and go in here and circle everything that I want to get rid of. and then just hit the delete button, and just like that, it's gone. So this will not take very much time for me to go in here and clean it up. So let me get it cleaned up, and then we will go in and create a mesh. And I've got the part all cleaned up, all of the noise is gone, and just like before, I'm just going to click the one-click process button and let Creality Scan do all of the work. All right, so let's take a look at this elbow now that Creality Scan has finished doing its thing, and you can see here, this is the mesh file, and it did a pretty decent job of scanning in that turbo elbow. You can read all of the numbers and everything here on it. And yes, I would say that the Raptor Pro does a pretty decent job with that blue laser scanning. So there's two other things I want to try before ending this video. That is scanning in a person and trying out that color feature of the camera. And I think I could do all of that all in one step. And just like before, I let Creality Scan do all the work, and I use that one-click process button, and this is the result. This is an excellent scan. There's lots of detail on here. It didn't miss anything. I'm very happy with the results of this scan, and let's also try out the color camera and see how well it did. And it looks like it did just as good a job with the color camera as it did with the 3D scanning. Everything looks good on here. Lots of detail. It did kind of miss a little spot right here on the left eye and the left shoulder, but other than that, we got a pretty decent color scan as well. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I told you I was going to let you know everything that I like and everything that I dislike about the Raptor Pro. So let's just start out with what I don't like about the Raptor Pro. And the number one thing that I do not like about the Raptor Pro is that it has to be plugged in and it has to be tethered to my computer through the USB port. When I was scanning the dashboard of the truck, I had to run an extension cord out the door of the shop and out there to the truck just so that I could scan in the dash of my pickup truck. Now, over on the Creality webpage, they do sell a scan bridge that works with the Raptor series scanners, and it does solve both of these problems because it uses a Wi-Fi bridge to connect it to the computer, and it also has a built-in battery, so there's no need to run an extension cord everywhere that you want to scan something. I also do not like that you have to use the marker dots for the blue laser mode. It's very time consuming putting these marker dots on the object that you want to scan, and it is even more time consuming trying to remove the marker dots when you are done scanning. And messing around with these marker dots is by far not my favorite activity. However, it is required for the blue laser mode, and the level of accuracy and detail that you get in the blue laser mode, that's definitely the way to go. I never thought that I would see a 3D scanner that would pick up the grind marks from an angle grinder on my jet boat, but the Raptor Pro did in the blue laser mode. And here are the things that I do like about the Raptor Pro. Number one is that it is very lightweight and easy to hold. It's not very hard to get all of the certain angles that you need to scan in an object. I also like that it's very easy to set up and use, and that it uses the Creality Scan software. Once you get your items scanned, all you have to do is click that one process button, and Creality Scan does all of the work. And then once it's finished, you've got your model and you can import it into your 3D printer or some modeling software and do whatever it is you need to do with your 3D scans. So if you've been thinking about purchasing a Raptor Pro for yourself, I've got good news for you. As of today, February 21st, 2025, the Raptor Pro has been released and it is available for purchase. I've got links to it and everything else that I used here in the video down in the description. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me that big thumbs up, smash that like button, and if you aren't a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming Making Stuff videos, and thanks for watching.